Good morning, fourth grade. Welcome back to day 2 of our STEM experiment. To get started on our lesson, the first thing we want to do is make sure that we read this morning post because it has a lot of information on what we are going to do today. So I'll read it with you. It says, "Good morning, fourth grade. Today we are continuing our STEM experiments. Remember, I have shared a list of material you can find under End of Year Experiments, which is in classwork. I will show you guys where to find that if you need a reminder. Let's keep reading. In today's experiment, we will investigate how we can make water move. I never thought about that. Can we make water move without touching it? We'll find out today. You can find the video lesson on Tuesday. So you have to click on classwork and scroll down to Tuesday. Also, there is a Nearpod link with a code to share your observations. That's very important. We're going to be using Nearpod today. Make sure you watch the video and complete the Nearpod sheet. If you have any questions, join me during our live stream at 1:20. I also have office hours from 2 o'clock all the way to 3:30. And there I have shared the link where you can join me on Zoom. So now that we have that information, let's click on classwork. One of the things that we saw on that post was our end of the year experiment material list. It is the very first thing that you see. This is a checklist of the different materials that we're going to be using throughout the rest of the school year once that we are doing our different experiments. So today we are doing experiment number 2, and I will be using plastic cups, paper towels, and some food coloring. But we're not there yet. Let's continue setting up. So here we are back on classwork. On the directions, it says I have to scroll down to Tuesday. So let's go past our end of year experiments, class weekly agenda, below our resources, below our test review, below our test scores in science journal. We're going to go to Tuesday. So on Tuesday, there are two materials. The first one, it says Edpuzzle 5-18 Walking Water. That's the link that you clicked to find the video. Now I want to take us to the second one. The second one says 5-18 Nearpod. So let's click on that. It says share your observations using Nearpod. 1. Click on the link. 2. Type the code FCWVG. 3. Fill it out as you watch the lesson. So right now, I want everybody to pause, go to Google Classroom, open up Nearpod, type in the code, which is FCWVG, and then click that arrow, and it will take you to this login screen. You will click login with Google. It may redirect you so you can log in with Google. Click your school email account. Yes, continue. And you will see this worksheet. It says the Walking Rainbow Experiment. So we're going to see how we can make a walking rainbow. This is the worksheet that you will see. Now, I want you to leave it open on your screen and continue watching. Throughout our video lesson, I will pause and give you time to add to this worksheet. So do not worry. Make sure you are logged into Nearpod and we will begin our lesson. Okay, so for today's experiment, we're going to be creating a rainbow through these 7 cups. If you would like to do this at home, what you will need is 7 plastic cups like this one. Make sure they're clear. You will need some paper towels, about a pitcher of water. We're not going to use all of it, but just to be sure we have enough. And some food coloring. You can find this at the grocery store. So through this experiment, we want to use water and these paper towels to see if we can make our water walk from one cup to the next. We're gonna start out with water. In this experiment, only some of our cups are going to be filled with water, and we're gonna see if we can make our water walk from one cup to the next. The first thing I want to do So now we have our 7 cups. Only 4 of them have water, and 3 are empty. And we are going to see if we can get the water to travel to these empty cups. Alright, so for the next part of our experiment, what we want to do is add some color to our cups of water. What I have here is some different food coloring. I'm going to start out with red. I'm going to put about five dots into cup number 1, 3, 4, and 5. If you are doing this at home, please make sure you have mom or dad watching. Okay, so now we have our 7 cups. 4 are filled with water, 2 are red, 1 is yellow, and 1 is blue. So for our next part of our experiment, we're going to take a paper towel, no bigger than this, and we're going to fold it to the middle once, and to the middle another time. So once you fold it, it should look something like this. And we're going to fold our paper towel, and we are going to dip one side into our red cup and then the other one into our empty cup. Go ahead and dip this one to the red and then into here. Alright, and we're gonna do that for all of our cups. So you're gonna need 7 different pieces of paper. We're gonna fold each of them to look like this. And from our empty cup, we're gonna take this one and put it into our yellow. Make sure. Doesn't look like much is happening yet, but just need to give it some time while we continue adding the paper towels throughout. This might take a couple of time to get it through, but let me bring you guys closer to show you some things happening. Right here we have our blue paper towel. Notice how the color blue is slowly rising to the top. And also for our yellow and our red. Let's finish up adding our paper towels. We want to add 2 more. One from the blue to the empty cup, and then one from, put it here, and then one last one from our empty cup to the red. I notice that each time I put a paper towel in a cup that has water, the paper towel begins to change from its regular white color to the color that's in the liquid. Let's see what happens if we leave it in there for a very long time. Alright, so we just watched our first part of our experiment. You saw me place water in our different containers, and you also saw me put the paper towels between each container. So our first part that I want to do is I want you to share with me on your Nearpod screen. We're going to fill out the red box. The red box says what I think will happen. So we're going to click on the text box. You're going to maybe make it a little smaller and then move it so that it is inside the red box. And you can share your thinking. I think the water will, and you fill in the blank. You may think the water is not going to move; it stay in the right place. You may think the water will begin to absorb. Share whatever you think will happen. There is no right or wrong answer. This is all part of being a scientist. We share our thinking and then we watch the whole experiment and then we'll be able to see what we learned. So I'll give you guys about 2 minutes to add what you were thinking on Nearpod. And now we wait to see what will happen.
A few moments later.
So let's continue checking in. I'll bring you guys a bit closer so you guys can see our paper towels. So here we have our red cup. If we follow the paper towel, it looks like it's slowly but surely moving throughout. Yellow is moving a bit slow. Blue, it's moving. And this red is not moving a lot. There is not anything in our cups just yet. If you are doing this at home, just be patient.
20 minutes later.
So far, no change. Let's keep watching.
One hour later.
Here we have our red cup and our yellow cup. If we take a look in the cup in between of those two, we see that there is a bit of water that has gathered there. If we keep waiting a bit more, I'm sure that we'll begin to see some color mixed in there. Here we have our yellow cup and our blue cup. Mixed between these, there is a couple of droplets in there, but not so much. Here we have our blue and our red, and at this one we do have bits of water. So we're seeing how our water started out with our red, and our paper towels that were once white are now completely their own color. For example, this one and the first one, it is completely red. So that tells me that the water is absorbed by the paper towel, and once the paper towel reaches the next cup, it begins to drop off in there. So I have been watching these cups of water for what seems like forever, and I have seen a bit of change. Our first cup was a cup of red water, and our third cup was a cup of yellow water. Remember, in our second cup, we didn't put anything in it. Now let's look at our second cup. You guys see that at the bottom? a bit of water that has gathered, and it is the color orange because when you mix red and yellow mixed together, it makes orange. So we saw how the water that we had in these cups traveled from the red and the yellow, and then we're able to mix into that one. On cup number 3, we had yellow, and on cup number 5, we had blue. Let's take a close look at cup number 4. There is not a lot of water that has been gathered, but if you can take a close look, you see when I lift it up, see how it's dripping? It is the color green, because when you mix yellow and blue together, it makes the color green. That means that our water from each cup was able to be absorbed by the napkins and was able to travel to make these new color mixtures. I'm going to continue to let these sit overnight, and I will post of what it looks like in the morning on Google Classroom. But now let's look at our last 3 cups. We had cup blue on number 5 and cup red on number 7. And remember, cup 6 did not have any water as well. But now, if we look here at cup 6, we see that red and blue have mixed together to create a cool purple looking color. So we were able to see through this experiment how we started with water in one location, and the water was able to absorb and eventually be able to drop itself out in an empty location. All right, you guys, we waited a really long time to see our walking rainbow experiment. It took a while. I want you guys to share your thinking. So we're going to add another text box and make it a bit smaller. We're going to make sure that it is in the green. And I want you to write what you saw happen. And then write a sentence explaining what you saw. We noticed that when we put the paper towels in the water, the paper towels absorbed the water and it slowly absorbed it all up and then was able to drip it into the next cup. So based on what we just heard, I want you guys to take the next 2 minutes to go on Nearpod and share your thinking. What happened during our walking rainbow experiment? Write at least one sentence. In this experiment, we got to see how the water was able to be absorbed by the paper towels and went up, and then was able to deposit its liquid into a new location. I like to think about this kind of how a tree works. Or different plants. We know that plants have roots, and those roots are in the ground, and they kind of work like straws, where they get the water from underground, and with those roots, the water goes up and distributes to the different parts of the plant. That's kind of what happened here. Our paper towels kind of acted like a straw or a root and absorbed the water and brought it up, and then deposited into a new location. So in this purple column, it asks us, how does it look? You guys can use your Draw It tool to draw a picture of of what we noticed at the end. We were able to see how we were able to make a rainbow just by starting out with 4 cups of water and 3 empty cups in between, and using those paper towels, the water was able to absorb and drop into our different cups. Please make sure that you fill out your Nearpod sheet so that it looks something like this, and click submit. Also, if you do this experiment at home, please send me any and all pictures that you get of your experiment. You can either send it to my email or text it to me. And I will be very happy to see what you guys do at home. We will continue tomorrow, Wednesday, with our experiment number 3. It's a really cool experiment, so I'm excited to share that. And then on Thursday, we're going to reveal our egg to see what happens to our egg that we put in vinegar. If you have any questions, you can visit me during our live stream, which is at 1:20, and office hours, which is from 2 to 3:30. Thank you and have a good day. Also, if you needed more time for your Nearpod, here is a picture of our final product.